people? How you people doing out there? How is everybody doing? I'm doing good, chilling. I'm chilling. That's what I'm doing for Christmas. Chilling. I am chilling. You can see the Christmas weather. Look at that. That's my Christmas right there. I'm chilling. Trying not to do much. I know some sports been coming on too. I haven't checked out. But yeah, folks, I've been chilling. Um, I was reading one of my old books right here. I bought around 2019 by Dame Dash called The Culture Vulture. That's a good book. That book is good. I like to read people's thoughts, not thoughts, but read their manuscripts on business entrepreneuring and what it takes. And you know, everybody do got to go through their own pain. Everybody got to go through their own struggles to when they're creating things. And we know it's never easy. And but what's not easy when it takes simple steps to get shit done. All you gotta do is just get some shit done. You gotta put effort into it. And repetition, it don't work if you're not throwing in the work. They told me to wait for this banner when I was getting it done because I was trying to get the pricing. So they gave me a price one time for this banner. It was like $800. I said $800. Anyway, I found another spot, got this banner done, and that was it. Once I got my banner done, and I had all the podcast equipment, I had the mics and stuff. I got shit done. I put effort into it. But yeah, I remember that. I remember when I was getting getting a banner done, and this place was open, and the place that I went to was an actual company. So the guy was living at his home, so I went by there to have a banner done, and I couldn't even get up in there because I didn't feel safe because it was just something creepy about it. They had an actual store to do banners, but the place was actually closed. So I found out that they was doing the banners inside the home, but it was something strange about that house because when I was in front of that house, I was scared to go in there because shit, it was just creepy. He wouldn't come outside, so I didn't want to take that risk of getting a banner done. But anyway, they wanted about 800 for that banner. And I'm like, that banner is not even that serious. I just want a regular banner. Anyway, I got my sizes of the banner that I wanted, and that's what I ended up with that logo. I'm just saying all the effort that I put in to get things done. Um, like those 1, 2, 3 steps, that's what I did to get some shit done. And I got shit done. So this year is going to be a great year for me because I did a lot of shit and I got focused on to getting things done. I know people ask me, do you celebrate Christmas? Nah. I'll wear the sweater, I'll whatever, but no, I don't really celebrate it. As you grow, you just see things differently, and I think for the kids, it's always good for the kids to enjoy Christmas. And what's up, Jace? Um, I think that's always good for the kids to enjoy Christmas. So I don't want to spoil it from them because my parents didn't spoil it for me. But oh, there was something else I had done too, y'all. Y'all got to see this. This is funny. Let me show y'all. I'm gonna show you like when you're trying to get things done and you're trying to put some effort in. We made a big spiel too. So this banner here. Look at that. So when I got that done, I did my measurements wrong. So what I did was with this is canvas, and so I had an item made for me, and what I did was I sized it wrong, and this is the size I got out of it. And guess what that is, y'all? Look at that. That's Not the size, but just how big it is. I think it's a 22 by 24. This right here, y'all, is DTF. Ain't that crazy? Look at that. Look at that. That's DTF on canvas. So I had that done on canvas, and what I did was I just took a chance on trying to just see if it's gonna work on canvas, because what happened was I didn't want to get rid of it. Shit, I paid for it, so I took a chance to see could I get it on canvas, and the shit worked. So I put a lot of effort into a lot of shit that I've done this year right here. So I've done some magnificent things and shit, and I got a lot of shit done. But that's what I've done this year for 2022. I've made a lot of effort, and I've gotten a lot of shit done. And I've got my tax ID, so that tax ID will be good for me. So when I file taxes, I can do tax write-off on everything that I've put into this podcast right here, because I've studied billing it. So I'm trying to just uh, do more, because that's what it's all about being consistency. You gotta keep doing shit, even if you're not an up and everyday person. Have a schedule when you're gonna do some shit, because that's more important to having the right kind of schedule. So that's what I'm gonna start doing too. um, I'll be wondering when I see people's podcast numbers. I'd be like, damn, those are a lot of numbers. And sometimes I'd be wondering, a lot of these people podcast numbers, if they are bots. Like, are they bots out there? Like, I'd be thinking people looking at bots on these damn channels, because a lot of people don't even show their face when they on your platform. Uh, uh, but I put in a lot of effort to what I was doing. But look at this shit. This shit is funny. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. But it was worth the money, because the canvas I bought, and I heated it up, and it worked perfectly. So I put in a lot of effort on what I've been doing, and I know everybody's coming over to the podcast world. Do y'all know how done the music industry is? Appreciate that too, Isaac. Appreciate that. Do y'all know how done the music industry is? Like for people that's gonna go out there trying to do music, it's gonna have to be independent for sure about what you're trying to get out there. And um, I think that you know uh, the podcast right now, because y'all see how everybody's doing more and more podcasts now, because everybody's is getting ready for the new year. So podcast is going to be a big thing now. This shit is crazy. Like I started in 2019, but like I said, I was gradually building it. But what happened was that the pan happened, and so I couldn't get shit done. But I be checking out people's numbers, man, on their podcast, and I be like, damn, the numbers don't add up. So that's what I mean about being original with your stuff. Like, do your numbers match with your views and the people that come on there? So, cause look, one time I bought some subscribers on my Instagram, and that's the worst shit you want to do. It's disrespect to Instagram. They don't want that shit. And YouTube the same way about it. Don't buy no goddamn subscribers. You want to try to build your channel. And let me read this right here. I can see that you have a lot of subscribers and likes most of the time. The most would bribe of the game they play on something. Yeah, you're right, because what I mean about the podcast is like, I think people gonna start just doing a lot of bogus stuff with podcasts, and they're gonna be linking up together to bring out like these stories and to get these subscribers. Like, podcasting is gonna be like the next hustle and shit, like rolling dice, gambling and shit, just to manipulate people with stories and shit. When I spent my time living in LA, I lived out there from 2015 all the way up to no, from 2014 all the way up to 2019 or 20, when the pandemic came out. And let me tell you something about California, what I learned. California is can only be used for marketing. I'm not a surfer. I don't do none of that stuff, but I learned that California is a marketing state. It's just a marketing state. You got something that you selling, go out there and you can market it. What's that mean? Go get you rent you a Bentley, whatever your product is, use that Bentley to market your stuff. And then I realized over all those years growing up that this is what the entertainment business was doing in the music industry. They was renting out a lot of stuff. It didn't make sense then, but it's like damn slow learning. So yeah, that's what California is marketing. That's all you're gonna get out of there. Do you know how many people I saw out there chasing a dream to sing, to be an actress? And do you know a lot of people wind up on the street in California because they can't afford to rent a place to live? That's what I saw out there. Man, I was so lucky when I moved to California because when I moved there, I only had $114 in my pocket. That's all I had, $114. And one time I had just saw the ocean for the first time, and I was walking on the beach, and man, you to my somebody who had a spiritual awakening, man, sometime in life you can forget about yourself in the worst way. What does that mean? You spend more of your time working, you spend more of your time pleasing people, you spend more of your time trying to be in a relationship that may not be going nowhere. What that means? I mean, you could waste 5 years of your life, 10 years, 20 years of your life and don't get nowhere. And what ends up happening is you end up losing your soul to yourself because you put too much time in things that probably wasn't important or meant to be in your life. So when I was walking on that beach, it was my first time smelling the ocean water. I swear I got something came up on me because all of a sudden, this is crazy what I'm about to say. My senses started kicking in. Like I felt myself coming back to myself. And I didn't know nothing about myself. Like my skill set, I didn't know nothing. It's like I totally forgot about who I was. And I just got lost. I got lost in the illusion of things and stuff that didn't matter. I got lost into a lot of illusion of things that didn't that I didn't even need to be chasing in my life. And I lost a lot of time, but that was okay with me because this awakening I was having, I think it was coming from the salt water going through my nose, so I could smell the salt. And I guess my thoughts were clearing out, and I just felt like I started feeling myself coming back like I was gone. And I realized, man, I lost myself. Like you get lost and caught up in the wrong things in life. And you can't even be doing no bad stuff. It's just sometimes we focus on stuff that loses us, and you can lose your soul. But let me tell you about this spiritual awakening. So I'm walking on that beach. I didn't know what to do. What was my next move? I didn't have no money. And then all of a sudden, something just came upon me and told me that I was going to be okay. And I'm like, what was that? And all of a sudden, these tears came down. I was like, shit, myself had came back. Within probably 4 to 6 months, everything that I lost when I first moved to California, I kid you not, California is the hardest state to live in. I got everything back in my life 20 times, 30 times more. Blessings just came out of nowhere. It's like when you go to work and you do a lot of stuff instead of being yourself, you kind of forget about yourself and your feels. Yeah, your feelings. Look, you will forget about your feelings because my buddy told me, he said, we don't supposed to be working no 8 hours a day like this. And I know we live in times where we have to make a living, but you do lose time with yourself, especially with job, because you spend more time pleasing the job. You spend more time trying to get the promotion. You spend more time trying to get to be the employee of the month. And sometimes getting that so many times don't even have the same feeling no more. You get tired of it. And then, jobs come with a lot of different type of feelings and emotions. And sometimes you just get caught up in work so much, you become what that is. And I know for a fact I'm not going to own it or anything, but I feel like you're losing time in your life. And right now, I'm blessed right now as I speak right now. But let me tell you something. I lived in California, and it was the hardest state to live in because if you don't have a place, you can't afford to rent, you are gonna be on the street. And that's what I noticed out there. Everybody was chasing dreams. And when you move out there, they're not even realizing that you're not gonna be able to get a job because the jobs out there don't even cover the rent. In my case, I was lucky, very fortunate. Um, um, but you know, I did work for aerospace, so I did have a job out there. And what would you say? It's like when you go to work and you do a lot of stuff instead of being yourself. Yeah, so I understand that. I forgot it. I just read that. But yeah, so I forgot about myself. But all of a sudden, blessings came. I was able to live good, but I seen a lot of people out there, they couldn't even afford to live out there. People had to group up, link up, and go half and half on the bills just to make it. That's what I saw out there. And I have to say this right here because I'm being honest, and I like this podcast to be real honest. Uh, and my mind kind of felt different too because California is predominantly Spanish. And so where I come from up north, what Milwaukee, Wisconsin, born in Chicago, Illinois. So I was always looking at, used to seeing things as blacks and whites. Not many Spanish people and not a lot of Puerto Ricans. But when I moved out to California, I saw all Spanish people. And this is gonna be so crazy what I'm about to say. So your perception of where you come from, I'm telling you what I was thinking. I was used to seeing like whites behind those desk jobs, running the corporate business. When I moved out to California, I saw Spanish people in corporate positions, big time positions. My brain was like thrown off. Like, wait a minute, because where I come from, it is like another world until you go to another state and the world changes. But you do have to move around sometime and go to other places so you can get understanding. The worst thing you want to do is be stuck in one place and you don't know nothing about the world. So you start to think like everybody else think in that one state. And I feel like you're not going nowhere. And you ever felt like you were meant to do something more, something you were meant to do something great in your life, something you just feel like something about you is different from everybody else. That's how I always felt. Always felt that way. But I did get out there. The rent is high, the food is high, and this is you guys gotta hear this. So I would go to the improvs and go to the laugh factories and see all the great comedians. I would see the Kevin Hart. I would see the Arsenio Hall, David Allen Greer. I would see I forgot the guy who played in The Hangover, the movie called The Hangover. I think he's Asian. I saw him, and um, you travel somewhere and you don't know anything, it will be awkward or like they will that and you are crazy, but all of you are not. But no, look, I learned a lot from traveling because you almost become a wise man. You go out in the world and you go get a view of the world. What that means? Your parents raised you to do the right thing. So I'm able to move around in the world and still keep myself humble, keep myself grounded where I don't let myself get strung out on anything and lose myself out there. So my mom and my dad raising really was a big part of my life where I'm able to get out here and move around because I know how to keep it safe. I know not to let myself get caught up in certain things. So, but these places I've been, I've learned so much. And so you come back to your old spot, you are full of information. You're full of information because you went somewhere a lot of people didn't go. So you know something that they don't know, but you know. And then you learn that you know more because everybody's minds are thinking small, but you know that there's something greater out there that they don't even see. It's like discovering, it's like Christopher Columbus discovering something. Then he come back and tell the queen, lots of trees, lots of land, and oh man, lots of water. But that's what I learned out there. So the Laugh Factory, I got the chance to see some of the hottest comedians on stage. So at the Laugh Factory, in the improv, they just do jokes. What they do is, what these famous comedians do, they go to Laugh Factory because they write down jokes, and then they go to Laugh Factory and practice on them within the crowd to see if the jokes, do the crowd like the jokes. And you only pay $17 for the ticket, and you're able to get pay for a two minimum drink, and you're able to you buy something to eat, but you get a chance to see a whole bunch of great comedians, and you pay like $17, maybe $20 if you want them to valet to car park your car. But man, so they take those jokes and come on the road, and they come to your state. They're gonna sell those tickets for 200, 100, $80. But you know, somebody's skill set is worth the money, you know, when you pay it. But I just started seeing how it works there, how it moves around. But I learned a lot out there, a whole lot. And but I'm gonna be honest with you. So when I got into probably my third year, I did really miss my race of people, and that was like a culture shock to me because I was so used to being around my race. It was kind of hard because certain foods that I was eating where I lived at, which was in the valley, they didn't have all the foods that I wanted. And you know how far you go with restaurant food. And what I did was I started traveling by myself within the car and go to other places to go into uh, my area of culture of folks where I could, you know, find the foods that I like. So that was the only thing different for me that was so hard. It's just something about, you know, you lose when you're not around your race of people. You do start to get bad withdrawals because you're into a whole nother world. So I guess if you do it enough, you get used to it. But but it was nice. It was cool. It was just that it kind of feels funny when you don't see nobody but you in your own skin color. That was weird to me, but I got over it, and you know it was good. But the Spanish people out there were great to me, man. They were nice, they were humble, they were very helpful. Learned a lot. Learned that they are smart, man. Like, you know, they do work hard. Um, but everybody's always uh, they run California. The Spanish people run California. That's what I noticed out there. And but you're right. You don't know anything until you go somewhere else. But you have to upgrade your thoughts, upgrade your life. You know, I know people get married, have a family, and everything. But if you're able to take your family with you, do that. But uh, sometimes I think a journey in life, you may want to wait and just travel enough to see if you to see the world to understand, because you don't want to get with everybody else thinking the same and not thinking that the world is bigger than the town or city or the state. The world is massive, man, massive. And one thing I did learn, being around diversity of people is good too, because everybody out there in California was getting along, working together, helping each other. When I go back up north, go to Wisconsin, Chicago, everybody's segregated. They're separated from each other. They don't want to be around each other, and I don't want to live like that no more. Uh, uh, I don't want to go back up north. I don't want to go back to the small states because I feel like my brain has expanded, as in that I've seen, my eyes, my ears, and I know there's more out there in life. And that's what I tell a lot of young people, that there's more out there in life. You know, I'm older, so it may not look like it, but I am. Matter of fact, I ain't never ashamed to call my age out. Shit, I'm 52, and um, I've seen a lot, but I've learned a lot. And what I've done in my life, I've never let myself high stress out, high worry, and it is about energy around people. Like when you go out, you're around a crowd of people, you can tell because the crowd can have bad energy on you and pull on you. You'll be around a crowd of people, and all of a sudden you're like, damn, I got a headache. Sometimes people energies out there is dirty, like dirty energy. That's why I didn't like the pen. You know, when we were locked in, that shit was hard because everybody had to get back out around each other. That shit was hard. I love California, y'all. I'm jumping all over the place, but I love California. But like I say, it's hard to live there. If anybody there going there to be, back then when I was there to be a star, trust me, That shit is hard. They only let certain people in. Certain people in. Most of the time, people don't go back to where they live at because they're embarrassed to say that they didn't make it. So they stay out there and suffer on the street. They ain't suffering on the street. I'll take that back. They don't suffer. They living good. People homeless in California are living fucking good. Some of these people were millionaires and lost everything, but prefer to live on the street. Uh, One more thing. The difference between what I learned about the habitat of living in California, they live in RVs. RVs out there in Arizona, California is popular. Houses out there ain't popular no more. Having a roof over your head ain't popular no more. California, people drive RVs. Here's one more thing. They okay with you living on the street, but if you try to get a tent and put it in front of somebody's home, they okay with that. But if you pull your carpet in front of somebody's house trying to sleep out your car, they don't like that. That's a ticket. But it's okay to be on the street or live in front of somebody's house with a tent. They won't bother you. But if you're sleeping in your car, they got a problem with that. Shit is backwards out there that I noticed too. Um, yeah, because some people are like rude and try to make you do something bad and other stuff, but you should like try to stay away, but they are still human and like us. You hit it right on the nail. They like us. Because sometimes me and my girl, we have disagreements. She's a little bit strong, opinionated, and sometimes I'm just soft. And she feels like you got to be hard on these people. But I've always felt like there's another way to talk to people, and you can break through to them without talking so hard because it's crushing how to talk to somebody. Like, do you know how to talk to people without hurting them, and you know that they may have sensitivity feelings, and you have to be careful with that? Well, that's how I am. I know how to do that. But yeah, I look, my parents raised me right, so I'm able to go anywhere and survive it. I've been in the worst situations. I've been in the roughest neighborhoods. If they talk about Chicago, I was born there. And if you go in them cities of Chicago on the blocks and the streets, 9 times out of 10, you walking, somebody may rob you or shoot you or kill you. It is true. It does exist. That's a whole nother world out there. In Wisconsin, from Chicago, which is about 2 hours away, they started to migrate over in Wisconsin. Then I started noticing the crime started picking up. Now, here's why I left Wisconsin. Because the governor out there had passed a gun law, but cut a lot of jobs. That's when I left around 2012 because I felt like if they're going to cut jobs and pass a gun law, I knew that everybody thinking they can carry a gun, thinking that it was legal for them, was going to be bad because the wrong people could get guns. And yet, till this day, Wisconsin is, to me, is bad. And you can tell when the streets is bad because when the city's not repairing the streets, that's how you know the city is don't have good resources. Pill pop in there, uh, because the meds is the new bad drugs now. They swerving and driving in the street. You can lose your job, and it takes about almost a few months until you get another job. You're trying to be on unemployment. But when I left Texas, it's full of jobs out there. I'll tell you why. Because they got corporate jobs out there. So you're able to pick up real fast. At that time, the cost of living was cheap. But when the pan hit, when I left California, came back to Texas, man, people were migrating back to Arizona and moving to Texas. It was getting crazy out there, like real crazy. And like rappers, like sometimes die by people that get into cars and crash. Man, the drugs, the pills, the pimping, the selling, the shit is real. The shit is so real and so infested out there. You can just disintegrate a neighborhood. I got so many stories that can tell you what is so relevant. And my generation, where I come from, is different. So the new generation, what you guys are going through right now, it is a cleanup because of my generation and behind my generation, they were letting things just gave up and got drugged out, pimped out. So it carried on within generations and just destroyed neighborhoods. It destroyed neighborhoods and shit just got fucked up. But I was able to survive through that because of my raising, my backgrounds. And then if I get a little bit spiritual on you, sometimes I think we all got a guardian angel that sees us through a lot of terrible shit. Do you have friends that are no longer here no more because of bad decisions that they made? A lot of my friends made bad decisions. They not here no more. I'm 52 years old. 52. I've seen so much shit. But let me tell y'all this right here. What I mean about losing. You can lose a lot of stuff and you can be hurt about it, but I'm telling you, it's okay to lose shit. Lose it. The hardest thing is trying to hold on to something that you can't control no more, or you can't have, or you can't save it, or you can't pay for it no more. Let it go. It's easy to let it go because I'm telling you, the reward is yourself, your spirit of yourself, and releasing that stress off of you. That's how I learned to start all back over. And trust me, I've started over 3 times in my life and got everything back. I got segments of not just getting it all back, but turnarounds in my life of how I got it back. And I didn't need a lot of things. I got a lot of things, and a lot of things I look at it sometimes, I'm like, I can't even, how can I wear about 30 pair of shoes when I'm wearing my old shoes all the time? I could have like 30 or 50 pair of shoes back there in my closet right now. I can't wear all that shit. And so as you get older, you look at this stuff you got, you be like, why did I buy that? It's just something about your brain unlocking, or something about you just growing up and knowing that things you don't need no more. But with the podcast thing right now, we all can do it because we all got voices. We all got information out here that we can give. Back in my time, we couldn't give this information as fast like this. Back then, in the magazines, they used to call things like social media was considered back then PayPal. What's that? You buy a magazine, and at the end, the back of the magazines, you would see people who just want to be friends or whatever, and you write them, they write you. It's called pen pals. That was the social media back then. Straight writing letters and mailing them stuff. But this social media just blew up out of nowhere. Technology is changing, and I think it's the upgrade. I'm gonna dish out a lot of shit to y'all that I think what's going on right now has been planned. I want y'all to think about this right here. It's like people try to make you do something bad and go to the wrong path, but if you go to the right path, it's like our brain wants us to wander and travel or make us like something or style. Well, look, I've been around all the temptations to do bad shit, lusting, drugs, pimping, using. I never got myself involved. I'm gonna tell y'all something about, I believe we all have angels. I've had friends that did a lot of bad stuff growing up as I was growing up as a kid, but they never would let me go with them and do the stuff that they were doing. They would always tell me to go home. They were the same age as me. They wouldn't let me do that. Yet this day, I got friends that won't let me do what they do. I don't know why not. I think we're here for a reason, y'all. I really believe some of us is here for a reason. But let me give y'all some more interesting stories of some shit. So look, y'all remember when the pandemic happened and everything was shut down? And then we had to get the jab. And then all of a sudden, Biden said, we got enough arms, enough shots in them arms. Let me tell y'all something. Don't y'all find it strange that when that was over with, don't y'all find it strange that all of a sudden they wanted to stop abortions? All over the United States, they were stopping abortions after everybody got those jabs. What if what's in that jab is something that's called genetics within the jab that's going to make the new generation of humans not bad, but good in a way? More intellect, better. You just never know. I think when they did that, they stopped all abortions, and they wanted to have people that have more kids. I think they put something in those so it can go into and we make babies, and that be the new generation of the new humans that are going to be coming. They're going to be human, but their intellects may be different. The way I think is back in my generation, but my grandfathers and my dad and them thinking is totally different. I'm just raised because you train yourself to be a certain way. That's what you're going to become. If you want to be a preacher, you be a preacher. If you want to read books and train yourself to read every day, and you consume all those books of reading, your intellect changes. But get around people that talk about junk shit and see won't your behavior be like that. But if you're strong enough, you don't have to change because everybody else change. That's one thing about me. I've always kept it proper. I always kept it good with myself. I never went out there and changed on myself. I always tried to, keep myself kept up, uh, keep things together with yourself, which is more important. In the end, that's what it boils down to. When people that don't, you end up hearing all the health issues they had because of how their lives were and what they did or what consumed them the most. Things that consume people the most is what they become, behavior wise, thinking wise, how they feel, how they dress, the attitude. But yeah, but what if those dudes, I'm saying it in a way they don't, censor my station, but it's used to modify new humans. I think that's what it was about. Because as soon as they got done with it, all of a sudden they said no more abortions. And then all of a sudden they were concerned about it wasn't enough kids being born no more. We lost a lot of people, but guess what kind of people we lost, y'all? This is what I mean about thinking. Those people that passed away doing, they were an older generation. A lot of them were older generation, older thinking. And they don't need that in the new thinking. They don't need that in the new changes that's about to come. Because that's going to still hold most of us back. So they wiped all that out. And then all of a sudden, they stopped them. And then all of a sudden, they wanted more kids to be born. Think about that. You may have to play this back over to kind of like hear what I'm trying to say. I can't say it so much. But let me read sorry, I have to go. I will come back. Cool. Do that. Do that, Isaac. And follow me too, my man. I appreciate that. Appreciate you too. Follow me too. I'm always here. But that's what I believe would happen. The is making a new generation of kids. You ever hear people say these kids are so smart? They're smarter. It almost got you thinking that the other generation was dumber. But the new generation is smarter. They even smarter than. Take care. Salute too. Uh, Generations are smarter now. Quick thinking, real quick thinking. That's what I mean about the new generation is changing. But that's what I believe the jab. I'm trying to say it in a way. The jab is creating the new humans. It's like right up under your nose. You don't even know how the generation changes. Go back, y'all, and go look at the people how they looked in the 70s, the 60s, and look at how they started changing within the 80s and the 90s. It's like a whole set of new humans, structure-wise, how they look. But yeah, yeah, um, yeah, man. That's that's what I've seen. Gotta pay attention. Pay attention what's around you. Right now, I said this on the last show, but in my backyard, I'm getting lots of fucking weird activity. Like cameras going bizarre. Like I'm seeing a lot of weird things flying up and down from the ground and poofing up in the air, and all of a sudden this light shows look like it went through a fucking portal. It goes like this, poop, poof. I'm like, what the fuck was that? You gotta see that shit. But yeah, man, this is what my podcast is about. It's about thinking and being honest about what we say. I don't want to come on here with junk thoughts or anything because that's not me. I like to be myself. But I did read this book right here, Culture Vulture. I got this book. What's his name? Uh, Kanita Griggs and Dame Dash came out with this book, Culture Vulture. Good book when it comes to being your own entrepreneur, your own boss. And I know a lot of people say, it's hard to be your own boss, but it's not. You just have to do your work and go through all those emotions to get there. That's what anything you got to do in your life. You got to put that effort into your life and make more things happen. And don't shortchange yourself. Look, these books are real important because books hold information. Just like you hold information, I hope you guys hold good information where you're able to share it back. Because we need to share information with each other, to help each other. That's what they don't want us to do. They don't want us thinking. They don't want us using our brains. They don't want us doing that. They want us to work, be stressed out, come home, go to sleep, don't take a bath, get your ass back up, and because that's how work becomes. You start to neglect yourself. You start to go down. That's what jobs do. And trust me, I know we all need jobs, but when I was working, I felt like I used my job to fund the things that I was trying to do, trying to build the things I need to build. Um, Meaning investing into myself. Uh, oh, Merry Christmas to you, Isaac, too. Take care. Appreciate you, too. Um, 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 because you become married to something, and some marriage sometimes can be hell. Imagine work. I'm not saying marriage is bad, but if it's not a healthy relationship, it can become bad. Like if you starting to consume and you're not doing nothing refreshing, like helping each other out and just trying to just stay updated and fresh in the mind, in the heart. Cause look, sometimes your love got to be shocked back to life for more loving, better loving, you know. But um, but yeah, this new year is coming. It's gonna be great for me, and I know the new year is gonna be great for you guys too. Uh, do your new year resolution like this. This is just advice, and that's what you do with yourself. Like kind of like grade yourself, so you don't lose yourself. But then, man, a year just went by so fast because you got lost. So grade yourself each week and see how you're doing and make sure that every decision you're making is the right decision. Like really grade yourself. Grade yourself. Um, but yeah, this banner here, man, reminds me of um, all the hard work I put in. I actually got two of these. I'm about to do a new one. Um, but I made a lot of effort and got a lot of stuff done this year. By the summertime, when the summer was coming, I started just, getting most stuff done. And trust me, when you're with the right people, things do seem to change, especially if you're trying to help each other out. That's how you get things done. Be with the right people. Have everybody around you, your circle, make sure they're the right people around you. Because it's important to have the right people around you. Don't nudge your way out. And sometimes being by yourself is good because it's safe, especially when you know what's out there. For us that like to be to ourselves, we know what's out there. We don't want to be out there around that. Right now, time is short. Time is short. Time is short only if you waste it. Time is short only when you waste it. That's all I'm trying to say. Everything right now, this moment is important. If you're laughing, if you're happy, those things are important, how you feeling. And, check on yourself. Check on yourself. But if you waste time on things that really don't benefit you, life will be short, fast. Man, how time has went by when you're wasting it up on junk thoughts and junk feelings. That's all I'm trying to say. Um, I do have a podcast too. It's called Tell the World Podcast. As you can see, it's back. Man, got a lot of notifications. Tell the World Podcast is a banner. And Tell the World Podcast is about conversations, intellect, what's new, what's going on in the world. Um, and I'm gonna do some talking points on where I'm at right now, where I'm living, and show you my surrounding, and I'm gonna show you what I've seen around other states to know that the world is changing, and people are being moved in position into places, and people are running from other places that are not the same no more. not the same. But I'm proud of myself because I got a lot of shit done this year. And I want to thank the Almighty for that. It's real important, like how good you do things for yourself. And, it's good that we treat others good and everything, but are you treating yourself good? Is really all. And are you happy? Remember, you know, you are here and you're born into this world here too, and you count. You count as well. Meanwhile, guys, I'm gonna get off right now, and I think some basketball games may be on, or they went off, or maybe some football is on, or maybe I missed that. Oh man, maybe I missed some football, or maybe I'll do another podcast. Maybe I'll come back on. Maybe I'll do that. Anyway, guys, that's gonna conclude the show, and you guys have a Merry Christmas, and be safe, enjoy yourself, and let's go out with this year no matter what's been wrong. Let's make the rest of these days go good so we can go good into our new year. New thinking, new mindset set. Out with the old and in with the new. In with the new, guys. You heard it first.